What's up, guys? Welcome back. Amazing RC. It's your boy Brian, and today we're talking six-wheel drive Eachines EAT01. This one happens to be a very good friend of mine, Gary's, over at RC Trail Cats. And today we're talking primarily LEDs. Now, this truck is almost done. It's built really close to the way it's going to be when it's completely finished. What you're lacking here is the paint. I don't want to actually show the paint color off until Gary gets it. That will be the one surprise he does get, because Gary is watching the videos now, which I'm very excited because now I get to show off some of my work. Now, the LEDs in this truck are extensive. There's almost 30 of them. They run on two separate on-off switches. When I first started to design this truck, I wanted to do a simplistic, minimalist kind of design, very sleek, very low. I wanted to keep with not only the original cab, but I also wanted to keep the folding mechanism, which I've got the two screws in right now, but it'll open up and fold out, because I thought it looked really cool. But that posed an issue for wanting to jam a bunch of LEDs in this, because you don't have very many places to hide wires. And that was a big thing for me. I don't like to see LED lights, and I don't like to, unless you're supposed to, they're headlights, but, and I also don't like to see wires. I'm not a big fan. I really dig, like, these wire looms. There's these mesh wire looms that you can get your wires into, and then they look real sleek when they're done. And even things like this winch, when it's all said and done, I'll have that wire loomed out. So it's really going to finish out to look like a sharp truck. Now, I have had a previous video where I talked about this really cool red oak carbon fiber and poplar decking I got back here. This took a little while to make as well. I'm very excited how it came out. But today we're going to talk about LEDs. Now, like I said about the two on-off switches prior, I wanted everything to be, done from here. Now, all of the LEDs you see on here will be staying on here in their exact positions and the exact colors. I will be adding two more LEDs. They're going to go on the back decking here, because you'll notice once I start running some of the pictures that the back decking isn't lit. Everything else is lit on here, but except for the back decking, and it just looks dark. So I'm going to actually mount the exhaust. I've got a couple of these exhaust pipes here. Now, originally, the exhaust pipe goes here on the stock truck, and I'm either going to go 100% asymmetrical or I'm going to go symmetrical, and this build kind of went symmetrical, so I didn't really like it there. Now, Gary, when he sent me the trade truck here, this is what I got from Gary. This is an amazing build. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to this one at the end as well. And the second one is right here. So I had a couple extra parts that I could use off that cab without completely defacing it. One of the things I got was the exhaust. Now, seeing as how we had the asymmetrical exhaust in the center, I wanted to do something a little different. I had two options. I could, and I know this is going to melt the comment section, I could have put it here, which looks really good. Actually, I would have flipped it on its side, so you would have seen this little grill here, and I would have mounted it right about here. I could have did it on both sides, because I have two now. Only issue is you're kind of covering up the bling under there, which is that really great, transmission and drive shaft setup. It just looks great. And I got some LEDs pointed right at it. So once everything's on, you really get to check it out, and it's really nice. So what I've decided to go back here. So if I actually mount these here and here, it could give this really cool exhaust look, and it'll give me another place to hide an LED. I'll actually put the LED inside the canister and fire it directly down at the deck. Now it's going to splash light on the decking, and it should spill it out pretty far and light the deck up. Now, in the center here, where all of the wires are hidden, there are lights inside here just on the ESC, which is mounted directly underneath this plastic. That's why you have your on-off switch here. That actually spills a little bit of light out on the back of the winch, which is very nice. It's a really nice effect. But there will be two more LEDs, and they'll pour out back. This isn't final yet, so we'll see how you guys dug that in the comments, and we'll see if I actually do it or not. Because I'm telling you, I really do like the sleek look. There's quite a bit going on here as far as LEDs. One of which I'll show you a picture of, is the inside. I actually lit the dashboard. I was going back and forth in my head of what to do with the interior. Now, of course, the interior's not done. Remember, there's no paint on this. There's no decals on it. There's nothing. So I kept going over what I was going to do with the interior, and I saw some of the issues that you would get with painting an interior and trying to paint just the seats or just paint. So I started trying to figure out what I could do with lighting and minimal paint and maybe some decals. And I ended up coming up with this great idea to just drill the holes out where the 3 dials are on the dashboard, and then backlight them with maybe a piece of Lexan, maybe fog it out and do some other work to it. And I toyed with it for about a week because I only have one of these dashboards that isn't painted and isn't messed with yet. So if I screw it up by popping a hole in, one of the dials and it goes off center, or it's too big, or it, shreds the entire thing because it's cheap plastic, I'm in real trouble. So, and we're 4.5, 5 months into this build. So I really can't, risk that. Well, I finally got up enough courage. I threw 3 holes in the dashboard. It came out great. And of course it's on, the on-off switch here. Now, the very first channel of on-off switch number 2 will run all of your basic lights. So that's going to be your dashboard. It's going to be the lights in the back of the cab. It's going to be your 2 headlights as well as your 4 taillights. Now, there are 4 headlights up front, but they run independently on channel 1 and 2 of on-off switch 1. So if I were actually to crank this back once and crank it back forward, you're going to get your yellow headlights. What you're also going to get are these side markers here. I did eventually get to get 2 lights in my side markers. Some of you guys will remember that from a video before. I was kind of toying with, can I do 1? Can I do 2? And I did get 2 in there. They look great. But that gives us our side markers. So now if I take that same channel, I crank it back and crank it forward again, it's going to give us both channels of the same on-off switch. So now I should have my white and yellow lights up front, my red tail lights, and my side markers. So now we can run the truck like this, and of course my dashboard and my interior lights. So that's on-off switch number 1. Now what happens is if I crank this back one more time and crank it back a 4th time, we get a demo mode. So now what this is going to do is take all of my lights that I have on that on-off switch and make them blink independently back and forth, and it's a really cool effect. And then of course if I crank it back again and crank it forward, it's going to turn the entire system off, and then of course one more time we're back at the beginning again. So that's on-off switch number 1. Now on-off switch number 2 is going to be beginning with these lights up top, and that's going to be this very first button here. So it's going to give us our center 2 lights, and the reason I did this is because I wanted something to kind of just like the headlights here where they kind of go back and forth on the same channel. So I actually hooked up all 4 lights on 2 separate channels. So we've got the center 2 on the first channel, and you can run it like that, and then I also have a pair of blue lights underneath to where we'll have like a blue underglow. It's not huge, it's very faint, but it's there and it's nice. It's not overpowering and crazy. And what it does light up is the bling bling underneath, and that's very important. Now we hit the button and we should get our second channel on. Now that's going to be our 2 outside lights and green underglow. Now those 2 light bulbs I told you before that light up the back deck, that's when these will come on. They'll go on this. So you can see there's room on this channel. So that's green underglow and our outside blue lights. So then we go ahead and do the system again, and we're going to get all 4 lights up front and our green and blue underglow at the same time, and it makes for a really nice patterned effect on the ground. I really like it. And then of course, once you hit the button 2 more times, you're going to go ahead and get demo mode. So now we get that really cool effect with the blinky blinkies up front, and we're going to get our green and blue underneath. They're going to go back and forth at one time. It's like I said, it's a really cool effect. Tap the button 2 more times, turns the entire system off. I think it's a very clean look. Like I said, I wanted to go minimalist on this, but there'd be a ton of technology, and I think I hit the mark with that. With the other 2 lights on here lighting the back deck, I think it's going to be a really smoking setup. I may actually put a light here too, facing the back, almost like a center brake light of sorts. I kind of like how that works. Oh, and of course, I'm going to do something special with this winch. You notice, obviously, that the winch is here, in the back of the truck's here. I thought of that. What I plan on doing, I want to let it go because it's going to spool up in here. But what I plan on doing is I have somewhere this little eye hook. And tell me what you guys think, because I thought this was a really cool idea. So what I plan on doing, I'm going to actually knock off all of the threads here on the screw part to where it's just a shaft, and might even take a little bit of the length off too. Not much. I want it to be the entire width of this decking here. Remember, we've got red oak here in the center. Super, super hard stuff. So I'm going to knock off the threads, and I'm going to pop a couple holes back here inconspicuously that will fit snugly this nice little eye hook. And and maybe a hole up here somewhere where the operator of the truck would be able to take the shank out, throw it in the hole back here. This would actually be able to run through it, okay, and then wherever it needs to go. And instead of having just this short angle here, I mean, you could even theoretically put it here and run the winch straight that way, and it should work. So I'm going to have fun testing that out as well. Tell me what you think. It's kind of a cool idea. Some of you guys are going to be like, "You're nuts. That's not going to work at all." So I'm going to do it because I'm excited. I think it's going to look really cool. Guys, tell me what you think. This is just the LED portion of the build. Right now, I will be tearing this entire truck apart. And I'm going to paint it. I've got a killer color, a couple colors going up here on the cab. It's not going to be some extravagant crazy thing. It's going to be a color. I mean, this is a truck, but it's going to be really nice. I've got something that you really wouldn't think would go on this. Of course, remember, we've got red rims. We started with red rims specifically to challenge me. I'm not a big fan of red, and I wanted to challenge myself, so we're going to get this thing a really killer paint job, and then we're going to get it to Gary, and then you're going to see it on his channel, and then I'll run the final video on the entire paint and all the rest of the truck and everything that I did, all the little teeny tiny things, because it took a lot of work to get it to where it is now. Over 100 work hours in this build alone. Guys, I really appreciate you stopping by. I'm really working on getting you guys some more videos. With the COVID thing going on right now, it's kind of slowed things down. I really hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy. We'll get you guys another really cool video very, very soon. It's Brian, and this is Amazing RC.